I'm going over a YouTube tutorial done by someone named The New Boston. He's got a ton of really nice and quickie tutorials. This is called Beginner JavaScript tutorial. And again, I give full credit to The New Boston because I'm following his tutorial along. But the way I'm doing it is I created this HTML page where basically I have over here nothing but an ordered list, and inside every list item I have a script. And so here on the left hand side is the script, the JavaScript, and here on the right is the output in the browser window. So you start off with the HTML tag, and I named this JavaScript tutorials.html. This right here is something totally different. Here's the head. The only thing that's in this head at this time is style, and I styled the LI, which is the list item, and I gave it a border of 10 pixels of blue ridge, a margin of 5 pixels, a padding of 15 pixels, a border radius of 20 pixels, and a font size of 35 pixels. And then I gave the LI hover a background color of yellow. So what happens is when I hover over each list item, you see the background color turns yellow, and all of these styles, basically this blue rounded border with the padding and everything and the size of the font, that's all in that style. Then you have the end of the style, the end of the head, and here's the body. Here is the beginning OL tag, which means ordered list, and ordered list gives me these numbers over here to the left. If I changed this OL to a UL, I would also have to change the ending tag, which is all the way at the bottom, whoops, to an ending UL, which means unordered list. Then my numbers would change to dots. As you can see, they're dots right now, but you can change those to images. You can change them to, let's see if I give it a style. The unordered list, let's see, I think it's called list style type. Ooh, I think it's circle. Let me see. Let's see if I change it from a dot to a circle. Yeah, it's a very small circle. List style type. What if I change it to a square? You can change it to a few different things, including images. And it's very tiny. You could hardly see it. But anyway, I don't really want to do that though. I want to go back to an ordered list because I want them numbered. So I'm going to change that back to OL and end OL right there. And then I'm going to refresh the page again, and there's my numbers. Reason being, it makes it easier for me with this many scripts that I have a script in every single list item. See there, script type equals text / JavaScript end script. This first command in that script is document.write hello there baby bear, and that right there shows you the output for that. I also have an on-click event, which you just see it turned tan. The LI, and this is the opening LI on click equals, and all of this is in double quotes, style.background color equals, and then in single quotes tan, semicolon, return true, semicolon. Every single one of these list items is going to be exactly the same, and every opening and closing script tag is going to be exactly the same. The only thing that's going to be different is what's inside of the script. Okay, so this is a note to me that this is section 1, which is letting me know that this is the first list item up here. So we've already went over this one. Now let's go over the second one. There's our list item, and there's our script tags, and the only thing that's in here, and you see there's nothing in here, that's because the only thing we did is we showed how to make a single line comment, which is 2 forward slashes, and if you have a multiple line comment, you start it off with a / asterisk and you end it with an asterisk /, and because this is a comment, you see nothing in the output. So we did that one. All right, now we're on our third one. There is the list item, opening and closing list tags. There's the script, opening and closing script tags, and there are two little statements in this script. Document.write, I like coffee, is a string, so it's enclosed in double quotes, and then another line, document.write, I also like tea, and I also put a little space in here so that it doesn't smash those two sentences together because it shows up on the same line right here. So that's that one. Okay, now we're at the fourth one. There's our list item, and here's our script tags. And the only thing new here is we are creating a variable with the name of x, and we're setting it to the value of 23. And then we're using our document.write, and what we're putting is the value of x. And up here we created the value of x to be 23, so the output on this fourth list item is going to be the number 23. And sure as heck, there it is. Okay, let's go to the fifth one. There's the list item, there's the script tags, and here is the meat of that. We're creating another variable. We're giving it the name of cheese, which some of these don't make any sense, but we're just giving them different names just so you can see how it works. It doesn't really matter what the names are, it just matters how it works. So we create this variable called cheese, and we set it equal to the value of 200. Then we have document.write, and in parentheses, cheese, the value of cheese. So if you see right here, the fifth item is 200. If I were to change this 200 to 500 and rerun this, then the number 500 would be here. All right, next on the chopping block, there's our list item, beginning and ending. There's our script, and here's this. We have another variable we're creating. We're giving it the name of bacon, and we're setting it to a decimal point because we want to see that JavaScript is going to actually spit out a decimal point. 200.87634. Document.write bacon. And here's the number, 200.87634. Done deal. Let's go to the seventh one. There's a list item, there's a script tag, and this is just basically showing you that JavaScript will also deal with negative numbers. So we have var tomato equals negative 234, document.write tomato. There's negative 234. Next, the eighth one, list item script, and var box equals, this is a string of text. So when you're writing strings of text, they have to be in double quotes. And then you have document.write, the value of box. So here we go. This is a string of text. That's the output. Let's move this up, and let's move to 9. Merrily we roll along. There's the list item, there's the script, and here we got var show equals he wears a really big shoe. And because we wanted to show really big in double quotes, we had to use the escape operator, the backslash. So otherwise, there's meaning behind single quotes and double quotes in JavaScript. So if you want the double quote to be shown as if it were a string, you use this escape character as the backslash. So he wears a backslash double quote, really big, backslash double quote, shoe. So then document.write show, I don't know why I said show, this should have been shoe, but it doesn't really matter as long as you spell your variable correctly here where you name it, and here when you put it in the parentheses, then you're fine and dandy. He wears a really big shoe. So here you get to see the double quotes. Okay, number 10. There's the beginning list item end. There's the beginning script tag and end. This is var balloon equals false. This is treating balloon as a Boolean value. Boolean means true or false only. So var balloon equals false, document.write, and the value of balloon, which is going to come up false. All right, let's go to the 11th one. There's your list item, there's script tags. Var brains equals null, document.write brains, it's the value of null. Null meaning like empty, like a value was not given to it. Okay, number 12, list item, script tags. We're getting a little more complicated. Here we create a variable called name, and we're setting it to the string of Lisa. Here we're creating a variable called age, and we're setting it to the string of 47 because it's in double quotes. If this was going to be a mathematical, if we were going to use 47 in a mathematical computation, I don't believe we would use the double quotes. I think we would just have var age equals 47. We're using the document.write, and in double quotes we are spitting out the words just as you see them. My name is with a space, plus name plus means that we're going to have the value of name, which is Lisa, and then we're going to concatenate that to a comma, a space, and I am, and another space, and then we're going to concatenate that to the value of age, which is 47, and then we're going to concatenate another string that has a space and the words years old. So my name is Lisa, comma, and I am 47 years old is the output. All right, moving on to the 13th one. There's a list item, there's the script tags. We have var cod equals I am a fishy ... that's a string. Var bacon equals bacon deliciousness ... another string. And var sandwich equals hamburger, period, another string. So then we have document.write. We don't use any double quotes in this because we are using the value of cod, which is a string already, I am a fishy ... plus the value of bacon, which is bacon deliciousness ... plus sandwich, the value of sandwich, which is the word hamburger with a dot. So what you end up with is I am a fishy ... bacon deliciousness ... hamburger. There's the output on that one. Now here's that 14th one that I actually commented out, and after I show you how this is used, I'm going to comment it out again because every time I run this, well actually I'm not even really having to run this because it's already open, but if I do have to rerun it, this box is going to keep popping up. Anyway, let me click this. Well, before I click it, let me go over the code first. I don't know why I have two of these. On click, I should not have two. Well, that was weird. That was weird. Did you just see that? Huh. All right, anyhow, there is the opening li and closing li. This is going to change. This is not going to be 14 anymore. Let me rerun this. Let me save this and let me run this. Okay, look. Section 14 says those feet are mighty stanky. Here we're going to create a function. Starting off with our nested list item, same list item that we've had with everything else, we've got script tags right here. And in this script, we're creating a function. So we use keyword function, and then we give it a name with empty parentheses, and we're giving this the name of stanky. And then inside of stanky, the function stanky, in these curly braces, we will have an alert box pop up, which is what this is. This is called an alert box, and the alert is going to have this text inside of it. It's going to say section 14 says, because we're in section 14 and I wanted to be able to remind myself where I was, those feet are mighty stanky. Okay, this is a function, but it doesn't run all by itself. You have to call the function. This is just telling you the directions for the function, what the function does. But in order to call the function, you have to use the name of the function, and since there was nothing in the parentheses here, this is basically how you call the function, the name of the function, and then the ending semicolon. So here, this is calling stanky, and when it calls it, it actually does it. So here is the script that makes this pop-up come up. Now what happens after that is you hit the OK button to make this pop-up go away, or actually this alert box is what it's called. This alert box will go away when you hit OK. Now let me highlight all these things that we've already done because we are at 14 right now. We've done all of these. Okay, now we have outside of the script tag, we're still in the same list item. Here's the script, which was making a function called stanky and then calling it. Then we have a form, and in that form we have a button, and you make a button by using this this code right here. Input type equals button, value equals touch me. Value is the words that's inside of the button, and we have an on-click event for that button. And look, we are calling Stanky just the same way Stanky was called here, except this is Stanky, empty parentheses and semicolon. This on-click event has Stanky with empty parentheses, no semicolon, but in double quotes. And there's the end of the form tag because you put buttons and things like that. Those are form elements. So what's going to happen when I click this? The on-click event is going to call Stanky. So I'm going to click it, and there it is again. Section 14 says, those feet are mighty stanky. So it basically ran this function again. Here the function ran by itself when the page loaded, and here the function ran by clicking a button. Hit OK. Now we're done with that part. Now we're going to be on to section 15. I have to put the greater than sign there so that I uncomment this part. Let me save this now and run this again. See how that automatically comes up? Now, section 15, because I uncommented it, it's running at as soon as this page loads. As soon as we closed this alert box, this information went in the form in the input button. So we don't have to push this input button. If we push it, it'll run this again. But this right here, the page load is causing this to run. And so when you hit OK, it comes all the way down here and it will cause this next one to run. So for 15, here's our li click. I don't know why that keeps showing me double every time. Here's the script. Here's another function. We use the function name, the function keyword, and here we're giving this the name of meatball. And this, we're actually putting something in the parentheses. Up here we had an empty set of parentheses. Here we're going to actually put something called a parameter in the parentheses of the function. And here we're going to get an alert box again, and the alert box text is going to say section 15 says I love and a space plus the value of whatever x is. Okay, this function doesn't know what the value of x is yet until we get here. We call the function meatball by saying the word meatball. It's the name of the function, and then in the parentheses we're going to give x a value. And so we're giving x the value of this string that says spaghetti with meatballs. And because this is not, we do it just like this, because a button isn't making this happen. Here we put stanky in the parentheses and a semicolon. Here we put meatball and something in the parentheses and a semicolon. That's one statement. And then we did it again. We called it again, but this time we gave it, instead of giving it spaghetti with meatballs as the value for x, we gave the value for x salmon balls, and then we did it again. We called meatball, and we gave it a different argument to the parameter, big balls of meat, and that's the end of the script. Then we also created a form so that we could do the same thing with a button, and similarly, we have input type button, value equals touch me again, and the on click event has these three possibilities. They're going to show one right after the other, but these are going to show only after we click a button. So we have we are calling the function meatball, and in this case we are using, because the on click event puts everything here in double quotes, we end up using spaghetti with blue balls in single quotes, and meatball spaghetti with big balls in single quotes, and spaghetti with long balls in single quotes. And I know that's really retarded, but comedy really helps, because sometimes coding can be really boring, and so you have to be a little silly every now and then. Okay, so but again, this is the form with a button, and you don't have to hit this, but this, on the other hand, is going to run just because the page is loaded. So section 15 says I love spaghetti with meatballs. That's this one running. That's the first call. So when you hit OK, it's going to go to the second call to the meatball function. And section 15 says, I love salmon balls. And there it is. And then the third one that's going to show up when I hit OK is section 15 says, I love big balls of meat. Okay, that's the end of the script. Because we have created the function here, and all of these are 3 function calls. Here's the form. After I close this out, you see in section 15 another button that says touch me. Oh, we finished 14, so I can highlight those. 15 is what we're on, and now I'm going to show you how the meatball function is called with a different set of arguments. Blue balls, big balls, and long balls. So let's click touch me. I love spaghetti with blue balls. I love spaghetti with big balls. And I love spaghetti with long balls. Okay, so that's as retarded as I'm going to get. Return true, and all of that, again, was inside of double quotes of the on-click event. End of the form, end of the list item. Now we're on section 16. So this is already showing. We don't have any buttons there. There's the list item, end list item. Here's the script, and here's the function. The function has the name of apples. This time there's 2 parameters in the parentheses, and the function, the meat of the function or the directions of the function use document.write, and it has the word section 16 says plus whatever the value of 1 is, which is, this is the first parameter. So that means when you call the function called apples, the first thing in double quotes separated by a comma, that's 1, and then the value of 2 is going to be the second argument that you put in when you call the function apples. So again, we have function apples with 2 parameters here, 1, 2, document.write, section 16 says the value of 1 is better than, and then the value of 2, and then we add a break tag so that we go down to the next line. So here we call the apples function and we replace the variable of 1 with the word or the value string gold, and the words is better than, and then we're going to replace 2 with its new value, its argument to the parameter, with aluminum. So what you wind up getting in your first line here is section 16 says gold is better than aluminum. Then we call it a second time and we use the values ketchup, comma, mustard. So then we get section 16 says ketchup is better than mustard. And we call apples function a third time and we replace 1 and 2 with the words steak and bologna. So again, section 16 says steak is better than bologna or bologna. Balagna. And there's the end of there. So now we're on 17. Okay, here is what we're on right now. We move this up. There's our list item. There's our script tags. We're creating a function with the name of easy. There's nothing in this particular set of parentheses, but we're using this keyword called return. And what we're going to return is in the double quotes. But we want to see double quotes as well as the word game time and an exclamation point. So again, we use a backslash and double quotes so that you see it. It's an escape character. It lets you see that double quote as kind of like a string instead of as a special key element. And here's the other backslash double quote. So you'll see double quote, the word game time, an exclamation point, and double quote. That'll be the return. That's what this function does. It returns game time, but this is just the function. This is not calling the function. So you have to actually call the function, and the way this function is called is a little different. It uses document.write, and then here is the call to the function right there. Easy with nothing in it. So we're going to get that game time in double quotes, plus we're going to concatenate that to this string is the value returned by this function. And that's what you see. Game time is the value returned by this function. All right, so we're done with that one. Let's go to 18. All right, that's this one. Your numbers add up to 9. Here's our list item. Here's our script tags. Here we have a function, and we gave it the name of add. Inside of the parentheses, we gave it two parameters, a comma b. Inside that function, in the meat of that function, we create, by using the var keyword, a variable called c, and we set that equal to a plus b. And then we're going to return the value of c. Now, again, this isn't doing anything. This is just giving us instructions. So here we're using document write again. We're going to call this add function. First, we're going to write the string. Your numbers add up to, that's in double quotes, plus here we're going to concatenate it to, and this is how we call the function right here. The word add, which is the name of the function, and then the parentheses where we replace a comma b with 3 comma 6. Now remember here, if a and b is equal to 3 and 6, then that means a plus b is 3 plus 6, which is 9. And so 9 is going to be put into the variable of c. So to return c means 9. So then we're going to have your numbers add up to, and the value of that function is 9. And sure as you can get, your numbers add up to 9. And script end list item. Here's the 19th one. There is your list item, and there's your script. We have a couple functions. We have 3 functions. We have a function called do first, nothing in the parentheses, and all it does is spit out, by using document.write, the sentence I am first here with a break tag so that you go down to the next line. Then you have function do second, which does the same thing, but it just has a different thing that it's spitting out. I am second here. Then you have a function that's called start, and it's calling the first function. This is how you call a function. The name of the function with, if it needs something in the parentheses, see it's not created with anything in the parentheses, so these parentheses will stay blank as well. So do first, empty parentheses, semicolon, then it calls do second, empty parentheses, semicolon, because again, do second has nothing in the parentheses, and that is a third function. Here we call start. So by calling start, we're calling this function and this function to run one right after the other. And what happens is you get I am first here with a break. It goes down to the second line, I am second here. And that's how that one works. End of script, end of list item. Now the 20th one. So we did that one. Okay, this is an endless loop. I, of course, had to comment this out because I didn't want this to run and run and run. And so let me take the comment off. Take the comment off. We're on 20. Let me read it first and then I'll run it. There's our list item. There's our script tag. There's our ending script tag. First off, we're going to document.write. We are giving ourselves basically this sentence right here. This is an endless loop, but you have to uncomment the functions to see that. And then a couple of break tags so that you'll have a couple of spaces before this actually happens. Function do first. This function is going to write I am first, and then it's going to break down to the next line, and then it's going to call do second. Here's the function do second, which is going to set out a statement that says document.write I am second. Now it's going to call do first again. So you see how this is going to be a loop. It's going to do first, then it's going to call second, it's going to say this sentence, it's going to go back to the first, and it's just going to keep on going on and on and on for really ever. We have a function start that is like that, the one we just looked at, where it calls do first and do second, but we're not actually calling function start. Here we're just going to call do first, and by calling do first, This is going to make us do second, and then we're going to do second, and it's going to call do first, and these two are just going to keep going back and forth. So even though we have this function start and didn't use it, it didn't really matter too much, because by calling first, it's going to keep calling each other back and forth. So let's go on ahead. Remember that we're looking at number 20 here, and I'm going to run it. I didn't comment out 14 yet about the stanky feet, so I'm going to hit OK. And there's the spaghetti with meatballs, salmon balls, big balls of meat. And here, this is an endless loop. I am first. I am first because that's what do first does first. And then it goes, with the break tag, it goes down a line. So you see I am first, it goes down a line. Then it says I am second, and then it goes to do first, and it's all on the same line. So you see I am second, I am first, drop down a line. I am second, I am first, drop down a line. I'm second, I'm first, yada yada yada, go go go. And it could go on forever, but the browser actually says, okay, we've had enough. It takes you so far, and then it actually goes to the next number, which is 21. I don't want to keep looking at that. I just showed you how it worked, so I want to take that greater than sign off of there. So I comment all of this out again, and you know what I could do? I could actually leave the number here, and I can just comment out the script itself, I think. That way I'll still have number 20. Nothing will be in there because it's commented out, but it will maintain the number of sections that I have. And so then I will make the end of the comment stop there. So I still have the end of the list item. I have the beginning list item, nothing inside because it's all commented, in the end. All right, so let me run that. And there's the stinkiness again. And see, it's just going to leave 20 blank. But at least I can click these and remind myself where I'm at, which I'm at 21 right now. List item. I gave myself a note. Global variable Stacy can be used inside and outside of the function and anywhere that you want to use it. So inside this list item, we have the script tags, and we create this variable called girl, and we set it to the name Stacy, and then we use a break tag to go down a line. Then we have a function. We created girl outside of the function, which means that it's a global variable, which means you can use it in a function or out of a function. And you'll see we have a function called name, and all that does is document.write the value of girl, which means it's going to just write out Stacy and then go down a line. But this is just the instructions again. This is not calling it, this is just the instruction, so it's not actually writing it out yet. This is calling the function name. So this statement right here is what creates the first Stacy that you see. Then you can just use document.write and the value of girl. This statement gives you the second Stacy because girl was outside of the function. So you can use it there, and you can use it like that. All right, let's go to 22. Same list item, beginning and closing. Here, it's the note that we gave ourselves is that local variable Joyce can only be used inside of the function that it was created in. Here we start off with the function and we gave it name2. Here we're creating girl2 inside of the curly braces of this function. It's inside of the function. So that means that girl2 can only be used in the function. So we create girl2 and we set it equal to the name Joyce with a break tag so that it drops down one line. And then we have document.write the value of girl2, which is the name Joyce. Here we call it, so this is what's actually going to spit out the name Joyce, because we're calling the function itself called name2. But then when we use the document.write girl2, this is actually asking you to do something outside of the function name. This gives us the name, but this won't, because girl2 is created only and only and only in the function. So only the name, only calling the name of the function will let it work. So here we only have one Joyce instead of two of them. This didn't work for us. And script and list item. Now we're on the 23rd one. There's your list item, there's your script. Here we're creating a variable with the name of sum, and we're doing a little math problem here. 5 plus 75 plus 10 plus 5. Well, 5 plus 75 is 80, 80 plus 10 is 90, and 90 plus 5 is 95. So we're going to use our good old document.write, and whatever the value of sum is, which I just told you is 95, is going to show. And there it is, 95. Done. Let's look at the 24th one. There's a list item, there's a script. Here we're doing basically a similar thing, but we're using multiplication. Here we're creating a variable with the name of product, var product equals, and we're setting it to this math problem, 4 times 25. Document.write the value of product. 4 times 25 is 100, so we're going to write out the number 100, and there it is. The 25th one, list item, script tag. Here we're using modulus. Modulus is whatever the remainder of a division problem is. So we create a variable with the name of modulus. We set it equal to this. Basically it's a math problem, but instead of 25 divided by 7 being, let's see, 7 times 3 is 21. 25 minus 21 is the remainder of 4. The remainder of 4 is basically the answer because we're using 25 with a percent sign and 7. So the value of 25 divided by 7, what the remainder is 4. So here our answer is 4. Our display is 4. Let's go to the 26th one. List item, script tags. We're going to create a variable with the name of chops. We're going to set it to the value of 7. Here we're using a post increment operator. It takes the value of chops and it adds 1 to it. So when we go to document.write the new value of chops, it's going to go from 7 to 8, and 8 is the display. 27th one. There's our list item, there's our script tags. Here we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to give it a different name. var choppy equals 7. We started off with 7, but now we're using the post decrement operator. So what it does is it takes the value of choppy and subtracts 1. So 7 subtracted by 1 is 6. So when we use document.write, the value of choppy is now 6. So 27 should be 6, and it is. Let's go to the 28th one. There's our list item tags. There's our script tags. We are creating a variable with the name of me, and we're setting it to the number 47. And we are using document.write. We're using the string original number is with a space plus the value of me plus a break tag. The value of me, I set it 47. So now we have this plus equals operator. The value of me is 47. We're going to add 10 to that and then set it back to the value of me. So 47 is going to go from 47 to 57. Then when we use document.write, we're going to see the string new number becomes plus the new value of me, which is 57. So we get original number is 47 and new number becomes 57. Let's go for the 29th. So list item tags are script tags. We're creating a variable with the name of num. We're setting it to the value of 24. And here we're doing quite a few things. We start off with 24. This plus equals means we're going to take the value of num, which is 24. We're going to add 10 to it, and then we're going to take what that total is and put it back in num. So at this point, 24 becomes 34. Then we're going to do this one, which is going to subtract 4 and put the value back in num. So 34 minus 4 is 30, so now the value of num is 30. Then we're going to do this, and we're going to say 30 times 3 is 90, and 90 is going to go into the value of num now. And then 90 is going to be over here divided by 2, which is 45, and it's for the answer is the grand answer is going to be 45 is going to be in the value of num. So then when we use document.write, assignment operations give us this new value plus the value of num, which we figured out by doing the math, is 45. So here assignment operations give us this new value, 45. Let's go to the 30th one. There's our list item. And here's a note to ourselves. Make a decision with an if statement. And there's our script tags. We're creating a variable called apples, and we're setting it to the value of 55. Var apples equals 55. We are doing the same thing with oranges. Var oranges equals 26. Now we're doing if conditions. If apples, basically the value, is equal to oranges, the value of oranges, and since we want to know if they're equal, we use double equals, two equal signs. One equal sign means you're assigning this value to this variable. This wants to know about equality. So since the value of apples is 55 and the value of oranges is 26, then 55 is not equal to 26. So this is an incorrect statement. This is a false statement. When an if condition is false, then it ignores those curly braces, and it will go straight here to the else. And document.write will give us it was not true. And that is exactly what we got for 30. It was not true. Let's go to 31. There's our list item, there's our script, and we're doing the same thing. Because this is its own script, we can keep using these variables, the same names if we want. So for simplicity, we did just that. We have apples set to 55 and oranges to 26 again. This time we're using the exclamation equals, which means not equal to. So if apples is not equal to oranges, which 55 is not equal to 26, so that's a true statement. If this is a true statement, then this in the curly braces is going to execute. It did work because it was true. And that's what we get right here. It did work because it was true for 31. Let's go to 32. Here's our list item. There's our script. We got the same var apples equals 55, var oranges equals 26. Now we're going to use, isn't this the same thing I did? I did equals. I did not equals. I think I wanted to change this. I wanted to change this. If apples, instead of is set equal to, we're going to try the greater than or equals. If apples is greater than or equals to orange, well, apples is greater than or equal. It could be either one. It doesn't have to be equal if it's greater than and equals. It's one or the other. If it's greater than or equal, this is true. So this is a true statement. So we should get it did work because it was true. Because I just changed this, I have to save it before I run this, or this will change. This will go from it was not true to it did work because it is true. So let me refresh that. Let me get past these alert boxes. And what number are we on? We're on 32. It did work because it was true. Okay. All right, so now let's go to 33. And there's the same list, the same script tags, the same values for apples and oranges, except this time, since I already did if apples was greater than or equal to oranges, now let's ask if apples is less than or equal to oranges. Well, apples is not less than oranges, so that's going to be false. So then it's going to ignore this, and it's going to go to the else statement, and it will do this. It will say it was not true. 33, because I changed it, I have to save it up here in Notepad++, I have to rerun it, And I got to go through these again because I did not comment these out. And this is again number 33. It was not true because 55 is not less than or equal to 26. Okie doke, 34. What do we got going on for 34? Here's our list item. And this note to ourselves says a more complex if-else statement, which is not that much more complicated. Here's our script tags. We are creating a variable with the name of red, and we're setting red to 3. And we're creating a variable with the name of blue, and we're setting it to 5. And somehow I missed the semicolon there. Now, it's instead of, it's asking if red is equal to blue. Well, the value of red. It's asking if the value of red is equal to blue, which is not. That's false. So this will not say I want peaches. It's going to ask another question. Else if red is less than or equal to blue, which 3 is less than 5. So this is true. So we get I want cherries. And you see I want cherries right here. Now, if it's not equal to blue or less than, let's change red to 13. So now it will not be equal to blue and it will not be less than blue. So it will go down here to the else. And instead of it saying I want cherries, it's going to say I don't care either way. So let me save it in Notepad++ and let me hit my refresh button in the browser. Let me OK out all of these things. And you see how 34 changed to I don't care either way. And I believe that's where I stopped. So now when I go to the rest of his tutorial, this is how I set myself up to watch the tutorial and actually type it in and look at the output at the same time. I gave myself this note 35. I gave myself, all this is copy and paste. I just took this, I copied this whole thing and I pasted it here, and I just changed this number to 36, and then I pasted it here, and so on and so forth until I got down to this 57th item. And then I'm sure that there's a lot more to his tutorial, so this might go up to 100. I really don't know because I didn't finish this whole tutorial. But this is where I'm going to stop, and I will finish up on this tutorial when I finish the rest of it.